Whew. All right, good morning. I'm retired Senior Chief Petty Officer Turley Equilla Lewis. But before I start, let me get into that a little bit. You're here today for an assignment because you have an assignment. And I am here today because I will be your chief taking you through that assignment. A little bit about me. I'm Turley Equilla Lewis II. I was born on April 3rd, 1968 to the parents of Bobby Marie Lewis and Turley Equilla Lewis Sr. I was raised with 7 brothers and sisters, and I fell around number 6 or so. St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, down by Kings Highway and Natural Bridge, Plover. It's actually where I grew up at. So I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I ain't going to take it easy. Okay, so if you can't handle some of this, then you're going to need to step out. Okay, I get it. I get what you're going through. I do. I've been there, and I understand. But one thing I wished I'd have had when I was in your position, or even wherever you're at, was just solid accountability and leadership. Okay, and the key to that is good, solid management. So I'm going to take you through that, and I'm going to, over the next sections or so, and I'm going to show you how to develop good, solid management the way I learned it. As you probably reviewed, the title to this is Growing Chiefs from Mama to Manager. So that's Growing Chiefs from Mama to Manager. Okay? Growing Chiefs from Mama to Manager is about growing yourself in the skill sets of management. Okay? Now, everything that I teach you today will be of the biblical principles that I've learned. Again, I'm not going to keep it easy. So if that's too hard for you, change the channel. This is my channel. These are my pupils, my sheep. So if you're watching this, you've been appointed as one of my pupils, one of my sheep, and I want to give you the best advice that I have and that I've been given over the years. As we go along through this course, at first we're going to start with what I've known as called the plan. In the military, we had what was called the plan, and that includes the plan of the week, and the plan of the day. Okay? This is going to get you there. This is going to help you start developing those first level management skills. But before I go there, I'm going to go back to just a little bit more about me. Okay, so that you're 100% aware of who it is that's leading you. Okay? Now, I've been forged in fire. So understand my past is forged. I've been married 3 times and divorced 3 times. I'm currently married to the beautiful Miss Rebecca Lewis. Okay? Forged in fire. Those were not my greatest moments, but each one I learned something from. I was in the military, United States Navy, served as Senior Chief Petty Officer aboard the United States Naval aboard submarines, and also attended the Senior Enlisted Academy, which I'm very proud to say because each one of those taught me the tools, the very basic tools that I'm going to give to you. I was honored to serve with some men and women who are great. Purpose for me behind this? God. God sent me to say, hey, in His kingdom, and I'm going to teach you the difference, He needs chiefs. And He showed me that what He needs is trees. To God, my reflection is to God, trees are the chiefs of the earth. Many of you may have known what a chief petty officer is. And many of you heard that the chief petty officer is the backbone of the planet, the backbone of this, the backbone of the Navy. Well, trees are the backbone of our existence. Without trees, we don't exist. Without chief petty officers, I dare you to take a ship to sea. I'm not being arrogant, I'm not being cocky, but you take that ship to sea without some chief petty officers and you see how far you go. You try to exist on this planet without some trees and see how far you go. So my principles today that I'm going to teach you as I go through this, like I said, I'm going to keep this raw, okay? So my principles today as I teach you this is going to be both of government and kingdom. This is very important so that you understand the differences, okay? It's very important so you know where to go to get the information that you need. Most of my writings, most of my words have been blessed to me through the Holy Spirit, okay? And part of that is we have to get our young leaders back to the purpose of management. Back to where did it all start? Where did it all begin? Why are there these different programs? Because everything in life goes back to a beginning. So I'm going to take you back to the beginning. just like I did and just like I am going to do with the meat. We're going to go back to the beginning to see the different layers so that you can learn how to peel back those layers and go through. As I spoke earlier, almost all of my principles and almost all of my values are that of the Bible. I came to know my Lord Jesus Christ in 2000, as you can see, 2004, March 14th. Since then, I've had my struggles. I'm keeping it real with y'all. This is tough. But one thing I always had was His Word. And His Word has always proven to be His bond. And His Word is what led me here to you. So this is not meant, although I encourage everyone to learn, this is meant for that young guy that's 22 years old wondering where he's going. That young lady that's 27-year-old wondering where they're going. How do they get to that next step? How do you grow a chief? How do you grow a manager? Okay? How do you grow that? In our society, one thing we can clearly see as most of us go to work is management struggles. Because what you get is a process of people who are really good at what they're doing. There's some people out there who are great. IT, computers, sales. But how well do they deal with people? Their number one resource. And is it to the point that we can't even deal with people, that we need a machine because we can't manage people? We can't manage ourselves? So my goal is to get us back to that very basic principle before we lose it. If I connect with one person, mission done, I salute you. That's all. Mission done, I salute you. Okay? So this is a 7-part series. There's 7 days in a week. Correct that. Sorry. This is a 6-part series. There's 7 days in a week. On the 6th day, I'm going to rest. God took a break. I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to gather all this information and all the input. And we're going to all grow together. Okay? This ain't about me growing. This is about all of us growing together. One thing, if of anything that I learned as a chief petty officer, is you're only as strong as the people that you're growing. Your division, your people, your house. So we're going to get into it, yeah. Are only as strong as you are. Because they can only be as good as you are. So I'm going to teach you how to give that, what I call 10% tithe to your people. Okay? One of the things I learned as a chief petty officer, as a new chief petty officer, was that I was really only 10% better than every first class I was chosen above. There were some great first classes out there. I salute you. And many of you made chief and followed in those ranks. But at the time that I was advanced, and most of you know E7 and above in the military, you're 10% better than everyone else. And then once you get there, that's when the journey starts. Okay? So I'm here to cover that 10%. Okay? I'm here to get you past that 10%. Because if wherever you're at, if you're 10% better, wherever you're at, you take that next step. Because even the Bible, even our Lord Jesus Christ said 10%. And I'll do the other 90. So if you have faith in that, and you start doing your 10% in every single category that we cover here, you're going to learn that it is that 10% that you gave that separated you. Many people like to give like this. Many of us like to wake up and go, one day I'm here, let's go with that. And the next day I want to be here. I want to be the boss. But I'm here. How do I get from here to here? Well, I'll tell you, a good friend of mine, many of you guys, if you review this, hopefully one day you'll look up and go, hey, I knew that guy. His name was Big Red. And Big Red told me as a young second-class petty officer, big brother, keeping it real, all right? He goes, T. Yeah, what's up, Big Red? He says, you like my Cadillac, right? And I go, that's clean, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's clean. And Big Red goes, you know how I got it? I said, yeah, I know. You're chief. I know how you guys. No, that's not what I did. Pay attention. He says, my little brother, you got to pay the cost if you ever want to be the boss. You got to give that 10%. If you don't give that 10%, you can't get the other 90%. And that stuck with me throughout the years. And it stuck with me and it stuck with me. And every time I wanted more out of life, I just looked at it and went, give 10% more. Give 10% more than everyone else that's around you at that time. Now, as you grow, that 10% has to grow. So when I was a senior chief petty officer, that 10% more than the other senior chief petty officer was a lot, because I wanted to be the boss. So that meant in order for me to be the master chief petty officer, I had to give that 10% so that then I can rule and judge, and not judge, I apologize, then I can lead the others. Okay? Because they're only looking for about 10% difference in you. So, great principle that I learned. But I digress and I go back. Again, let's focus a little bit on the true purpose on this. This is not meant for everybody, okay? I get that. I get it. Some of y'all are going to be judged. I get it. Whatever. I'm a chief petty officer. And if you know any other chief petty officer, he did what was best for his division and his people. So I'm doing what is best for my division and my people. It's my department head. Okay, department heads are bosses, owners, whatever. That is my department head. That is my boss. You don't like it? That's cool. You can work for other companies. I ain't judging you. You can still take these principles because I'm a good chief, and a good chief can lead anyone. Just ask. Okay? It's my department head. My department head gave me a division. That's me. Chief. Okay? He gave me a division to conquer. He gave many different divisions. My division, entry management. Management. Okay? I'll work on the spelling. Listen to me. Don't watch my spelling. He told me one day, he says, I'm sitting there and I'm going, how do I work in this kingdom? How do I do this? And he goes, you know, my people perish from the lack of knowledge. My people perish from the lack of knowledge. And I thought about that and I go, what was the biggest thing that separated me from my brothers and sisters and from my friends who grew up in those streets of St. Louis, down on 4915 Plover? Check it out if you want to see it. It was the knowledge and the wisdom that I had gained. You see, early in life, I was introduced to my division from my division, from my department head, by two beautiful ladies. We call them the nuns. Sister Jane was one, and I apologize, I don't know the other name. They took me to a little church. It's a Catholic church. I'm not Catholic. I'm of no religion. I'm of no religion. Okay? They took me to a church, and they said, hey, it's your father. He'll give you anything you want. At that time, my father had, for one reason or another, decided that he could not stay with our family. Father was a great man. Don't judge. You don't know his steps. Okay? Careful, because I did that. And I caution you, if you're judging your father, careful. You don't know his steps. Okay? That's hard. That's tough. But I said I'm not going to be easy. I'm going to try not to curse, but I'm not going to be easy. We got to get down to the brass roots of what's going on here. And what's going on here is we got some foundational issues. And if we don't get in there and fix those cracks, you ain't going nowhere. So stay with me. Don't mean to get off course. Stay with me. Okay. So I go, okay, well, if this father here can give me everything I want, why would I not? Why would I not? So I've been with my father, my captain, my steer of my ship since then. Now, I'm not going to say sometimes I didn't go AWOL. Like I said, I'm keeping this real. Sometimes I went AWOL. The good thing is about my captain is he says, you've been AWOL. I go, yep, I have. Caught a little trip in the Philippines and it was fun. And he said, that's okay. Get your uniform back on, get back to work, get your butt back to work. And I go, yes, Captain. Got my uniform on and got my butt back to work. Was a cost to pay though. Trust me. So, figure out who's yours. I figured out who's mine, okay? Mine operate a kingdom. Yours might operate a kingdom. Yours might operate a government. Yours might operate a business. I will go with that one. So most of my principles, if you're sticking with me, are going to be on that one. As we go through these next 6 days, my principles are going to be based on that one, okay? Just so that you understand where I come from. You can replace that with any word you want. It ain't the same. It ain't the same. You can do whatever you want to do, though. But if you're in my division, I'm the chief. Just the way it has to be. I have to lead. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm not trying to be rude. But I have to make some tough decisions. But I've proven to my captain that I will make those 10% different decisions. That's why he gave me my division. Okay? So that's all I want you to get out of this here. That's what I want you to understand. You have to start making those choices and those different decisions. Okay? So, Here we go. After I served in the military for 28 years, honorably, absolutely love it. Was graduating class at Senior Enlisted Academy, got to teach, and I found out that, hey, I kind of like this. I've been doing this all my life. This is what I do. This must be my gift. Because no matter what happened, I enjoyed doing this. I do other things, but no matter what, I enjoy doing this. So this must be my gift. That's the good thing about my captain. He gives you gifts to make sure you can take care of your division the way he needs you to take care of your division. Okay? Follow me. Pay attention. Okay? So, here we go. And again, I'm of no religion. So whatever it is that you might bring to this here with your religion, that's on you. I'm of no religion. I'm of a kingdom. That's it. Let's not draw more into this, okay? So when I speak of that, I'm not judging you. You're not judging me. I love you. You love me. We keep that line drawn, we can move forward. This is what I'm trying to get to do, is to get us to move forward. This is what I do with my division. Each young sailor, I don't care where you're from. I don't care if you're from Oklahoma. I don't care if you're from St. Louis. I don't care if you're from Texas. I don't care if you're from Boston. What I care is from here, where you go forward. Okay? That's a forward arrow. And if you're able to do it with the rest of us, okay? One of the first rules of being a chief is you never, ever, ever leave a sailor behind. I call it, I kept an eye on my sheep. Sometimes one would stray, go back and get him. Figure it out, because that one that you go back to get was me. Someone came back to get me. Could have been Petty Officer Lewis. Could have been Senior Chief Ahala. Could have been Mike Carpentier. Could have been Master Chief Hale. He was the first one that came back to get me. Could have been a lot of these different guys. They're good men. You got good men. And if you don't got good men, find yourself good men and surround yourself by good men and good women. I'll use some references. Let's just go over them. Man. Man to me is like man it was to God. It's man and woman. Okay? So when I say man, I mean man and woman. That's what I mean. I'm a little old school, a little gritty. Let's go. I don't want them to polish me off, because if they polish me off too much, I won't get to the people I'm trying to get to. I ain't trying to get to the ones that's polished. I'm trying to get to the brother that's struggling. I'm trying to get to the brother that has 2 divorces. I'm trying to get to the brother that has 2 kids. I'm trying to get to the young lady that's just got hurt. Okay? I'm trying to get to the one who's working at Walmart. That's what I'm trying to get to. We got to build a foundation before we can build a house. So I'm not trying to build houses. We got to build a foundation. That's what we're going to do here. Okay? So, plan of the week. Day 1, planning. Day 2, told you I can keep this raw, so we're gonna edit that part out and go back. All right, that's enough. I gotta write my outline, but I'm gonna get more into it, okay? And I'm gonna talk about all these different things. What we're going to talk about here, day 1, we're going to talk about a little bit about planning and how time and time management work on that. Day 2, my purpose of day 2 is talk about who are you and how to figure that out, figure out your purpose, figure out where you're going and where you come from. Day 3, mind, body, and spirit. You got to know who you are. You got to know how to take care of all 3 of these layers. If you don't take care of all these 3 layers, you'll give 10% in one, you'll drive yourself crazy. 10% more in your body and knock 10% more in your mind, you'll look great, but you'll be going crazy. 10% more in your mind, you'll be really, really smart, but you won't look as great. 10% more in your spirit and not in the rest of your body, and everybody will think you're crazy. Okay? So you got to learn how to give 10% more in all 3 areas. You have to represent that. Many of you guys, and what I find is in the military, many of the young sailors that I got worked on the mind and the body. Had no idea who they were. And that's unfortunate, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm going to work on that. Okay? Cool. We're going to work on gifts. 14 gifts, I call. That's going to be the fun one. When you learn these here, you're going to be like, poof. Well, when you learn the time one, I go over the time one that Captain Sears taught me, you're going to be like, poof. Oh, next level. It really changed my life. It'll change your life. It is little things day by day that change your life. There's no big grand explosion that's going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, you better be ready to manage crisis. That's what I'm going to teach you in day 5, is how to manage crisis. We're going to work on that a little bit, okay? How do you manage those? What are they looking for you? Okay? Day 7, or day 6. Day 6. We're going to go over finances, basic, okay? I'm not taking this to any great level. We're just going to go over how do you do 10% more. That's all, 10%. This whole thing is about 10%. Your willingness to give me 10% of your time. Okay? Your willingness to grow 10% better each day. So if you can do 10 push-ups now, what does that mean? 1 more tomorrow. That's 11, then 1.25 more the next day. And then eventually you'll get to 12. If you put away $100 in your savings now, each month, that's $110, 10% more. Next month or next year. Okay? And that you're going to understand almost every principle there is. Tithing has nothing to do with money. Okay? And I'll explain that. Tithing has nothing to do with money. Tithing has to do with your ability to manage the 10%. If you can't manage the 10%, you can't get to the 90%. And if you do somehow make it to the 90%, you're going to lose all of it. So you're going to go from 10% to 90% back to 0. Can't break the laws of that. You just can't do it. That's one of the fundamental reasons why I want to talk to you about a kingdom. And not a government. Because if you forget which one you truly exist in, back to 0. Okay? I've been back to 0 3 times. I'm forged in fire, y'all. I ain't up here playing. This ain't checkers, this is chess. I'm going to teach you why. Okay? I'm going to teach you why. 10%. You know the difference between checkers and chess? The guy learns 10% better at a game. Strategies. That's what we're here to do. We're not here to mess around anymore. Okay? Or not to even start messing around. We're here to start learning how to give that 10% and how to let that compounding interest grow so that in 3 to 5 years from now, you look back and you go, man, Chief Lewis was pretty cool. I like that guy. He's alright. He's alright. He's a little, you know, his handwriting and stuff. He got some issues to work on, but he's alright. He's alright. Okay? So that's our goal here, is to get and to proceed into that 10%. I'm going to jump around. Again, I'm trying to keep it real. So what the emotion that I'm going through, it's not a feeling. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. The emotion that I'm going through is that I have a purpose here. I have a purpose. I had a purpose in the military. I did. I had a good purpose. I enjoyed it. I had a purpose there. Every day I woke up, I was like, oh, I got a purpose. What is your purpose? I'm the chief. I drive submarines. I'm a diving officer. Oh, what a great purpose. Tell you some stories one day. I got out of the military, I struggled with purpose. What is my purpose? Where I work now? I'll leave that nameless. If you want to know, yeah, email me yourself. Purpose. I had a purpose here. And my purpose, a guy came to me, he says, I need a chief. That's me. It's always been me. And me. He goes, all right. It goes, all right. This is funny. So I'm going to tell you this here, then I'll wrap this first day up. So you get a little bit about me. And I go, that's me. I'm ready. Let me know. What do you need? What do you need, Captain? What do you need, God? What do you need? He says, I need a chief. And I go, cool. What do you need? Just tell me. He says, okay, go outside. Find me a chief. I said, well, I'm your chief. He said, go outside. Find me a chief. So I went outside. I walked around one morning. Looked around. Like, you don't find a chief in Auburn, Washington. And I was looking around, and then I asked myself, I says, what's a chief? This is where we screw up at. I said, what's a chief? E, F. So I was sent to find a chief. And I thought, in my mind, what is a chief? First thing I thought is something that works 10% more. Something or someone that works 10% more. That's a chief. Second thing, growth. You see, a chief has to go up the chain of command and down the chain of command, the same numbers. Okay? He has to go down the chain of command and he has to go up the chain of command. So I had to find something that went down and something that went up. Okay, so I'm out there going, okay, what else does a chief do? Change. A chief manages change. That's what he does. He manages change. Okay? And in that crisis. Cool. What does the chief do? Builds families. Builds. Protects. Harbors. See, the Chief Petty Officer has earned his stripes in the United States Navy and throughout the world. The Navy Chief Petty Officer has earned those different stripes because he's proven himself as forged in fire. A Chief Petty Officer is forged. We've heard many Chief Petty Officers. Some I feel sorry that they have not lived up to the ranks of what we hold ourselves accountable to. Most chiefs are good chiefs. Okay? So, they build. They, there's a lot of them. And they make up 10% of a society. Now, I can go all day long on this. Well, not all day long, but I can go a long time, trust me, on this, all right? But these are the big things that I thought. Okay? And I was like, okay, I'm walking around because I like to walk. It helps keep me in shape. We'll get into that. You gotta stay in shape and you gotta give. Okay, and I'm walking around and I'm like, well, what gives 10% more? What grows up and down? Gravitropic and phototropic. What manages changes in crisis the best? What builds, protects, and harbors? And there's a lot of them, almost 10%. And I'm walking around. And God once told a gentleman, story I heard that the guy was looking for a tree. He was looking for a chair, and God put him around trees. I just gave away my story, but stay with me. Keep it real. Don't judge. Okay, he was looking for a chair, and God put him out in a room full of trees. He said, I'm looking for a chair. And he said, oh, here you go. Then the guy goes back out the next day, goes, still looking for a chair. God goes back outside. He's looking out around. He's in the middle of a forest. I don't see any chairs. Why is he sending me out here? He goes back out the third day and says, oh, I'm looking for a chair. He goes back out the other day. I was looking for a chair. I asked you. You didn't answer my prayer. Then God says, go back out tomorrow, and I'll show you a chair. So the guy goes back out the next day, and he's walking out around. He's walking out around there. Bam! Right in front of him. Tree falls. Guy goes, here's your chair. Okay? So it's about seeing something in something you want that's already there. Okay? Seeing something you want in something that's already there. In this walk, I realized that the Chief Petty Officer are the trees of the earth. It was profound to me. So I saluted every tree as my brother. Trees come in all shapes and sizes. They grow all different ways. Some bear fruit, some don't bear fruit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. E6s, E7s out there, E8s, E9s. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They bear all kinds of fruit. Managers are like trees. Some bear fruit, some don't. But they all grow together. There's a manager anywhere you go. Everywhere you go. And the good thing is that's what you want to be. Right? You want to be a manager of things. Because you know why? Because that's what God appointed you to be. If you go to Genesis, in the very first